Hey everyone, it's Fortius here, and if you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering what life insurance is all about. You probably heard of the terms of term, whole life, universal. You're like, what is the difference? Well, if you clicked on this video, I'm here to talk about it, give you a brief understanding of what it's all about. So, I'm going to be breaking down a few things. An example would be what the differences are for term and the whole life, or we call it permanent insurance. I'll also be listing the differences, the pros and cons, when one might get it, and just to help you give the general idea on what you might be expecting to get out of this. And if not, you're just here just learn more about what term is, all that type of insurance, then I welcome you to this video. So without further ado, let's begin. And I will show you through my tablet here what I have. Okay, so first, life insurance. There's mainly two types of life insurance, and that's the term and there's the permanent. And with permanent, that basically means that you're covered for your whole life, and for term, it's just for a certain amount of time. And the thing about term here, or the whole life, or permanent, we should say, is that there's the whole life aspect, and then there's the universal. And the differences between that is mainly if you're a person who likes investing or you like reliable, guaranteed investments, then you pick the conservative one, which would be the whole life insurance. So, to begin with just life insurance in general, what you have here is the premiums. So, what that means, if you don't know what that is, it's payments. Basically, when you have a certain amount of premium, that's the amount of payments you're going to be doing either annually or per month, depending on the person. And with life insurance, this guarantees you a death benefit. So, this basically means it's the money that will be received for your loved ones, or if you decided to donate it to charity, then they would receive that death benefit. Okay? So, with term, just to sum it up, it's a certain amount of time that you will be paying, and that'll be the amount of time that you will also be covered. What's great about this is that it's very cheap compared to the other types of products, mainly, yes, the permanent products. And what this is mainly used for is if you want to protect your income. Okay, it says here it's a certain amount of time that you will be paying, and also that will be the amount of time that you will be covered. So it can range from 10, 20, 40, even up to 100 if you want to. Okay, so the premiums for term, which is nice, is that it is very cheap compared to the other products that provide you coverage for your whole life. So what this basically is it's for you to protect your income for a specific amount of time. An example would be for if you just finished education and you want to cover your debts for the amount of time that you'll pay it off, then that's when you would get it. Another is if you have children and you want them covered for, let's say, until they reach adulthood, which is mainly 18, and you want them protected for that amount of time if something were to happen to you, God forbid. Another is you could use it for mortgage instead of getting mortgage insurance. Since term life is cheaper, then most people would just choose the better option for them and the more reliable one, of course. The cheaper, the better. That's how we say it. Okay, now if we move on to permanent insurance, we have basically, or we have essentially, the protection of your income until death. But what this comes with is the higher premiums, as you can see here, and then it's paid for a certain amount of time or amount of years, depending on the person. And then there's the cash value accumulation for the permanent insurance, and you could do estate planning and final expenses. So what that essentially means, estate planning, It's for whenever if ever something were to happen to you, what do you want to do with that money that you want? Do you want it to pay off your estate or go directly to your beneficiaries? Now there's the final expenses, mainly, let's cover funeral costs. So if you were to die and you were to have your funeral, what your planning would be for that. So that could range from around 1500 to maybe more, depending on what the person chooses. If they want like a grand funeral, then obviously uh, they would want a higher death benefit for their life insurance. So, the whole and universal, what is the difference? Just TLDR, too long, did not read. Whole life, it's for the conservative people who want a reliable and predictable way of earning their investments and also for paying it off. The problem is that it's a higher premium. We look here, it's a higher premium for whole, but that means it's also fixed, so that is guaranteed. The problem with universal is you can increase it or decrease it, but there's the problem with the market if it crashes or goes down, and that would be depending on the person's investment risk tolerance. Next is the cash value. Whole life, it's stable. It'll be guaranteed. It's predictable. You do not have to think about it. You do not have to worry about it. And the problem with universal is you may have to start thinking about it. So if you're not the type to like check once in a while on how your investments are doing, then the whole life policy might be better for you. Thing with the cash value for universal is it may go down, but it also may go up. So it's an up and down thing with the universal coverage. If we look at the death benefit, of course, whatever you choose, it will stay that way for your whole life that you are alive, and then your face value for your death benefit does not go up or go down unless I put here par. So what par essentially is a participating policy, and if you choose to do that, it's mainly you agree to move your investments or your payments. You'll allow the insurance company to be added in with you as well. So if the insurance company that you're with earns income, they could increase your death benefit or pay you dividends. And then, of course, Universal also has that, and you could increase or decrease your death benefit if you ever want to. Another would be the cost. As I said earlier, whole life insurance, the cost is higher, but it's guaranteed and it's permanent. But with Universal, it's flexible. Mainly, you could overpay it, and then you could pay off your universal life insurance earlier, or you could do an underpayment where you're just paying off the coverage. But the problem is, if you're doing it at the lowest payment, the market could go down and it could start taking money from your cash value if you don't have the funds to pay it off or increase your premium, should I say. Okay, if we look at the investments here, you don't really have direct control for the whole life since you want the guaranteed and fixed payments. Then you would let the insurance company or the agent take care of it, and you don't think about it. It's the best part. Okay, and then Universal, you get to choose the investment options that are provided, and then you could also throughout the years change it, move it somewhere, whichever you want to do. Okay, next is the risk tolerance. So essentially, whole life, if you're a conservative investor, you would mainly pick the whole life policy because you want those guaranteed investment payments. And if you're the universal, that's if you're an investor that's moderate or higher, essentially. What this basically means, if you did an investor profile, that's how you would pick on which you would buy. But essentially, it depends on the client on what their long term goals are. Okay. Of course, if you also need help with this, I'll put in Calendly if you ever want to do an investor profile or do a financial analysis with me. I could help you go through that and we can go from there. So that is all I have for today in this video. Well, I hope that you all enjoyed watching this and that you learned something from this at all. And if you have any video ideas that I could do, then feel free to put that down as well. I'd also urge you to like and subscribe so I can know if what I'm doing brings value to others or if there's anything else I can improve on. And I thank you all for watching and have a great rest of your day.